So in order to create the animation that you just saw, I first modeled up a hand wash bottle with a bit of bevel modifier, and yeah, top bit again modeled, extruded and modeled out. I then used subdivision surface, I believe, to smoothen it out. And so after modeling the shampoo bottle, you must be wondering how have I got the name stuck to it in a circular manner. So I used a shrink wrap, but before that I actually cleaned up the text mesh after that I used shrink wrap modifier. And yeah, that's it really. To create the water droplets, I created a few odd shaped objects and then created a geometry node modifier, which is under here. That's the geometry nodes for the water droplets. I created inputs so I can control them from here, and basically it's distributing points on faces, creating instances. Collection is, I put this under a folder called droplets, and therefore they're all selectable from the geometry nodes modifier. And using that as an instance, then obviously you randomly rotate it. So I used a random value block connected. All of these are created inputs which I can control from here, and obviously I can even control the size, the density, all of that from the distance between each water droplets. And obviously that was the output, so that was it. But you can also get an add-on. I think the add-on is far better than what I've created, so if you can afford it and if you can buy it, yeah, go for the add-on. But I just thought of creating my own. Then obviously in order to create the morph, let me just play the animation that's under timeline. In order to create that effect, there you see I used this empty object to affect the shampoo bottle, which basically starts with a subdivision surface to make it smoother, then a vertex proximity paint using the empty as your effector, basically. So the target object is the empty, use that as vertex, then kept it as smooth, influence, global influence. That's it for that. Geometry nodes, that was geometry nodes for the weight paint. That's because of that's for the materials. So if we head over to the materials here, you will see that I've used the weight, I've used attributes as a color, and weight as geometry. So just copy this setup from there and it should work. So in essence, that is not just morphing, but it's also changing the texture. As you see, as it leaves, it becomes the bottle texture again. As it comes in, it merges into this water texture, and then as it goes down or up, it leaves the bottle texture back again. So it's that morphing of the object, that's what it's connected to. And then obviously the background and lights, I created them, they just off the bat, whatever felt right, I created. By the way, you can download this model from the link in the description below. And so yeah, and you can check out anything and everything with the model. There are 3 scenes within this. So if you look on the top right hand corner, there's spinning animation, which is basically this one, and then there's animation, which is the normal animation which I didn't put in the final take. And there is water animation, which is basically the water animation that you see in the video. This is a simulation. This is just a water simulation that I created. That's basically the simulation. 2 cameras in here, one is a rotating one and one is a zoomed in one. That's it really. And the main bit was this was quite hard to create, so I went through a few tutorials before I created this one. And yeah, so each things, they have a purpose. So if I just show you, so if I just stop it there, that's what the weight proximity does, because it's connected to the empty object. That's obviously just geometry nodes, that's for the shader. Then the next one there, that's the displace value. Then that gives that spinning effect. That's the displace value there. Then simple deform, that gives you the angular displacement twist of the object. I believe I use another one for a bit of effect. That I kept it switched off for now, but it is in there for a smoother effect of the final animation. Another subdivision surface, and obviously that's the water droplet add-on. Sorry, geometry nodes that I created. So that's that. There are many tutorials. I went through a few tutorials to get this done. Obviously it's not completely on top of my head, but I merged a few things from here and there and came up with this. And obviously keyframes, I went to graph editor. That's how all the keyframes have been set up. I played around a bit with the camera keyframes. That's where you see the dips, stuff like that. You can play around, or you can even check it out, create your own stuff. Like I said, you can download the model from the link in the description below. But that was it really, now to create the animation. Hope you enjoyed this video. Obviously it's not a detailed tutorial, but I am sharing the file. If you wish to download it, you can download it from the link in the description. Thank you.